The price of your time. Why leaving is the most profitable decision you'll ever make. Good evening, beautiful souls. I'm LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And what I'm about to share with you tonight will challenge everything you've been taught about success, sacrifice, and what it means to build a life that doesn't require you to break yourself to be valuable. Before we go any further, I need to introduce you to the woman whose wisdom is woven into every word of this talk. Her name is Yolanda Walker, and she is a force. Yolanda is a truth teller, a boundary setter, a liberator of Black women who have spent their entire lives giving, giving, giving until there was almost nothing left. She teaches women how to move from burnout to boundaries, from survival to softness, from doing to being. And she does it with a level of honesty that will shake you awake. Yolanda's work is changing lives, helping women reclaim their time, their peace, and their power in a world that profits from their exhaustion. And what she shared with me, it rocked me to my core. So, tonight I'm bringing you the insights from our conversation. Because what Yolanda taught me, what the data is screaming at us, and what so many of us are living through right now is this: reclaiming your time as a Black woman professional or entrepreneur is not about work life balance at all. It's about survival and it's about power. Let me say that again. Reclaiming your time is not about balance. It is about survival and power. It is a political, spiritual, and economic act of self preservation in a system that is actively pushing Black women out of stable work, out of leadership, and out of wealth building opportunities. Now, I know some of you are sitting there thinking, LeAnne, I thought this was about rest. I thought this was about softness. And it is, sis. But here's the counterintuitive truth Yolanda helped me see. Softness is not passive, rest is not retreat. Reclaiming your time is one of the most strategic, most profitable, most revolutionary business decisions you will ever make. And here's the part that might make you uncomfortable: leaving harmful relationships, jobs, and roles, even ones you sacrifice everything for, can be the most profitable business decision you ever make. When Black women stop over functioning in polyamorous relationships, corporate DEI roles, or strong friend dynamics that drain us, we free up the emotional and mental bandwidth we need to build sustainable, soft yet profitable lives and businesses. Let me take you into the data for a moment because the numbers don't lie and they're telling a story that too many of us know by heart. Since February 2025, Black women have lost 297,000 jobs. Another 223,000 are unemployed, and 75,000 have been pushed out of the labor force entirely. That's nearly 600,000 Black women economically sidelined. And when you account for those who've been pushed out, the real unemployment rate for Black women is over 10%. Not the headline number, the real number. Black women are losing jobs in higher paying sectors like government and gaining them mostly in lower wage work. We're earning just 71 cents on the dollar weekly and 66 cents annually compared to white men. And here's the kicker: 42% of Black women report job insecurity or layoffs. One in three Black women with degrees are being denied promotions. So when Yolanda told me, I was in a relationship for 8 years and it almost killed me, I'm reclaiming my time, she wasn't just talking about love. She was talking about every space where Black women are expected to give and give and give until there's almost nothing left. Corporate jobs, DEI roles, friendships, poly relationships, leadership positions, caregiving, the strong friend role, the fixer, the one who holds it all together. And here's what Yolanda helped me see: when we finally say, I'm reclaiming my time, we're not failing. We're not giving up. We're making a data driven, strategic, life-saving decision to stop overfunctioning in systems and relationships that would replace us tomorrow. Let me tell you about a woman whose story will stay with you long after tonight. She was a DEI director at a major corporation. After the 2020 racial justice uprisings, she was promoted into leadership and tasked with transforming the culture. She was given a title, visibility, and a mandate to fix centuries of inequity. But she was given minimal budget, minimal staff, and minimal authority. She was set up to be the face of change without the power to make it happen. She worked late nights. She absorbed the emotional labor of every conversation about race. She became the target for people's discomfort, their guilt, their anger. She held space for white colleagues who needed to process their feelings. She mentored Black employees who were being pushed out. She drafted policies that were never implemented. She presented data that was never acted on. And when public attention faded and political pressure mounted, her role became a lightning rod. DEI was framed as divisive. Her contributions were quietly devalued. And then she was laid off. Over 60 major corporations scaled back or removed DEI departments by 2025. And the women leading those departments are mostly Black women. They were punished for doing exactly what they were hired to do. But here's where the story shifts. Instead of returning to another corporate role that would drain her, she reclaimed her time. She paused. She went to therapy. She let herself grieve the loss of a job she had poured her soul into. She reassessed her goals, and then she pivoted to independent consulting and coaching, serving smaller companies and nonprofits that genuinely wanted to build equitable cultures. She diversified her income through retainer clients, speaking engagements, and training programs. She set boundaries around her time. She chose aligned clients, and she integrated rest and recovery into her work week. Her mental health improved. Her income became more stable, and her work began to reflect her values in a way it never could inside a corporation that was more interested in optics than outcomes. This is what reclaiming your time looks like in practice. It's not about quitting because you're tired, it's about leaving because you're clear. It's about recognizing that the system is broken, not you. And it's about building something new that honors your genius, your boundaries, and your right to rest. Now, I want to talk about softness for a moment because I know some of you are thinking, LeAnne, the world is hard. I can't afford to be soft, and I hear you. But here's the truth Yolanda and I unpacked. Softness and boundaries are not weaknesses, they are competitive advantages. Black women are facing record job insecurity, wage gaps, housing instability, and mental health crises. We're carrying the weight of survival on our backs while the systems around us crumble. And in that context, building a soft life with rest, therapy, financial planning, and non negotiable boundaries is how you preserve the clarity and energy you need to make sharp business decisions, to innovate, and to spot opportunities others miss. Softness becomes a form of strategy. When you're rested, you think better. When you're boundaried, you protect your capacity. When you're soft, you create space for joy, creativity, and the kind of long term thinking that builds wealth and legacy. Let me tell you about something happening right now in California that proves this point. The California Black Women's Collective Empowerment Institute launched a program called She Works CA in response to the disproportionate unemployment and underemployment of Black women across the state. Black women in California faced higher unemployment rates than other groups, and many have been concentrated in DEI, public sector, and nonprofit leadership roles that were cut during anti DEI backlash and budget reductions. These women reported financial instability, stalled career progression, and the emotional toll of being repeatedly undervalued and overworked. They had given everything to their jobs, their communities, their families, and they had been discarded. But She Works CA did something different. They created cohort based career and workforce programs specifically for Black women, pairing data on inequities with hands on support. The initiative focused on upskilling, leadership development, and networking, positioning Black women to transition into sustainable, better paying roles and entrepreneurial ventures instead of re entering exploitative environments. And here's what happened: participants gained access to new career pathways, mentorship, and leadership opportunities. They replaced isolated hustle with collective support, and they reframed layoffs and underemployment as catalysts to reclaim their time, reskill, and re enter the market on their own terms. This is the power of collective strategy. And that's the third insight I want to leave you with tonight. Collective strategies beat individual hustle every single time. Anti DEI backlash, layoffs, and wage gaps are structural, not personal failings. That means your response has to move beyond "I'll work harder" toward community based solutions. Shared childcare, accountability pods, co ops, collective investing, and networks where Black women hire, sponsor, and resource each other. The women who are thriving in this moment are not the ones grinding alone. They're the ones who built safety nets and ecosystems around their time, their money, and their mental health. Yolanda Walker is one of those women, and she's building a movement of Black women who are done sacrificing themselves for systems that don't value them. She's teaching us that reclaiming your time is not selfish, it's sacred, it's strategic, and it's the foundation of everything else we want to build. So here's my question for you tonight, sis. Where in your life, in your relationships, in your work, or in your business, are you still giving time, energy, and genius to people or systems that would replace you tomorrow? I want you to sit with that for a moment. Really sit with it, because the answer to that question is the doorway to your freedom. And here's what I need you to do: not tomorrow, not next week, right now. I want you to identify one concrete boundary you will set this week to start reclaiming that time for your own healing, your own wealth, and your own joy. Write it down. Share it with an accountability partner and take one small but irreversible step, whether that's ending a draining commitment, raising your rates, saying no to unpaid labor, or booking a therapy or coaching session. Because here's the truth that Yolanda taught me and that I'm passing on to you: you don't have to earn the right to rest. You don't have to prove you're worthy of softness. You don't have to wait until you've given everything away before you're allowed to keep something for yourself. You are allowed to reclaim your time right now, today, this moment. And when you do, you're not just saving yourself, you're modeling a new way of being for every Black woman watching you. You're building a business, a life, a legacy that doesn't require you to break yourself to be valuable. The systems that have exploited us are counting on us to keep giving. They're counting on us to stay silent. They're counting on us to believe that our worth is tied to our productivity, our sacrifice, our willingness to endure. But what if we said no? What if we walked away? What if we built something entirely new? That's the revolution, sis. That's the rebellion. That's the soft girl era. So let's drop the cape. Let's set the boundary. Let's reclaim our time, our softness, and our power. And let's do it together, because that's the only way we win. The world needs your genius, but it needs you whole, rested, and free even more. Now go reclaim your time.